Sonia G. This is the Moon Babes Monday Night Live. We are talking about equinox energy, ascension symptoms, what the fuck to do, the questions I'm getting, and the way people are feeling. By the time I start singing, you know that we got something going on. Okay, also, I want to talk to you about the Metaphysical Mastermind, which is the course that is right now open for the equinox energies. And we will talk about that. And there's reasons why I want to talk to you about it. So welcome, my loves. While everybody jumps on, we pin the comment. I feel tired now. Is that normal? Yes. I'm starting to see all of the questions and all of the things. Hi, loves. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. The hair is in getting ready mode for, you're going to see me. We'll see if you're going to see me at some events, on the red carpet. So this is red carpet hair, as I'm calling it, my mermaid hair. Whenever I see my higher self always has long hair. So I always picture myself with long hair, but my hair right now is growing. So sometimes I put it in, sometimes I take it out, and I stop making excuses about that, and it just gets to be okay. Because we get to do the things that we want and express in the way that we want on planet Earth. So let's talk about the equinox, okay? The equinox, which was yesterday, the March equinox, so 3/20/2022, okay, was a historical moment that I've been talking about a lot, okay? A lot, fucking a lot in building up to it and getting the fuck ready for it. I have told you for like months now, get fucking ready. Do not stop a day. Meditate, meditate, meditate. Do your motherfucking work. How many times did I say that, right? Now, everyone, I just want you to put this in perspective, okay? Now that we had the equinox and this energy hit, everyone is tired. Everyone is like, what the fuck is going on? This is a lot to deal with, there's a lot to process. The people that did their work are not that tired. The people that know how to use energy are not that tired. The people that know and have the fucking skills now are taking advantage of this energy, okay? So I'm saying this because I'm having this moment where so many people have been just getting by. A lot of people have just been like doing the little bits that are absolutely motherfucking necessary to drag your feet because it's so frustrating to look at the world and think to take time for yourself to do these things that have to do with your belief systems, with all of the ancestral stuff, with taking your power back, with healing yourself, with rewiring the things. A lot of people don't want to understand that everything in the world is a manifestation of each and every single one of us, like inner reality. We're all collectively manifesting this stuff, right? So a lot of people are doing outside work instead of inner work. So here's the thing, Monica is saying, I feel amazing. You have taught me well. Monica, you have done amazing work with me. So Monica's worked with me for like years now. So the people that have, and I'm not saying, right, if you haven't worked with me for years, you're not gonna feel good, but I'm saying that I know that my students that have done this work with me for a long time are like, right? They have skills. Even if they're not like, right? They know how to move through it. They know what skills to use, what to do, and how to get to the things that they want. So, yeah. Tired yesterday, enjoying your live, and I feel so blissful. So those of you that joined the live yesterday and that caught it live, right, that were meant to be on, we did a very powerful 39D meditation. And so those of you that have worked with the energy and with the astral, like with the higher frequencies and with the integration, that's like our lifeline, right? So as you keep up with doing the work and these energies come in and we can grab them and harness them and get a hold of them and utilize them, it feels like renewal. It feels like oxygen. It feels like being alive. It feels like, this is the stuff that I was waiting for, right? In a sense, it kind of feels like a drug, even though it's not a drug. It's just actually the energy and the frequency that makes us feel good that we can go and get a hold of and bring it into the physical. So when we do that, we always feel better. That's when you're used to doing the work. Some of you who have not been used to doing the work, and all of a sudden your soul is like, yes, I want this 39D, let's fucking do it. I got to do something, right? And you jumped in for the first time. It was very fucking powerful, which means that it may have kind of been like, whoo, like a lot. And then the integration of it takes time because you just brought in the highest possible frequency, right? That was available. And as you bring it into your physical plane, into your body, into your aura, into your home, it's a lot. It's a lot for us to be able to sustain it, to actually maintain that that kind of frequency, right? Because it's the frequency of being here. But naturally, if you had been living your life here, this is a chunk to clear. This may mean that you have to purge. This may mean that you don't understand why you have to go to the bathroom. This may mean that you don't understand why there's people in your life that all of a sudden are pissing you off, right? Because you have to clear this difference in order to stay at this frequency. Once the frequency comes in, this is embodiment work, right? So you embody the frequency and now you have to level everything and you have to clear all of that out, okay? Alexi is saying, yep, that's me. So if it was your first time, okay, my loves, that it is normal. I always, it is normal that your body has to like adjust. It's kind of like this. Think about it this way. If you went to the gym and you hadn't worked out in a long time, and all of a sudden you're like, yes, I remember how to do this. I can run. I can lift the big weights. Let's see how much I can bench, right? Let's see how much I can squat, whatever the hell, right? Let's see how much I can do this. And you feel really good. And in the moment you feel the adrenaline, you feel really excited. And your body feels really good. The next day, you're fucking sore. Your muscles have to adjust, right? They have to they're like, whoo, you just tore me up. You know, you're going to have the, all of the soreness and then your body heals. It's the same thing. In this case, it's a frequency healing, which means that things come up in your reality to be adjusted. Okay. It's just, the gym is like the best way that I have of explaining what happens in the energetic realm. So it's the same thing. This is like the light body gym. So all of a sudden you were like lifting heavy, meaning you're downloading heavy, right? And so it's like, whew, your body is sore. You have to get used to it. But it's kind of that thing when you train all the time, when you go to the gym and you train all the time, right? The people that work out all the time, they don't get sore in the same way anymore because they're used to it. And it's the same thing when you start to get into the higher frequencies, life just kind of keeps getting better and better, just like your physical body gets fitter and fitter and fitter, right? Does this make sense as a visual? That's kind of how that works. So this is what's happened. And that's the reason why a lot of people are asking me, where is the video? Where is the video of the equinox meditation? It's not available on Instagram. Instagram deleted it. It was a wild thing that happened. It's never happened before. Both Kelsey and Cassie were here with me and we were trying to figure out how to recover it and it just disappeared. It would not post. We tried to post it. And it was just too much energy. And I just feel like it's sometimes there are things that not everybody's ready for, right? And I know that those of you that knew that it was a big deal, you came for it, or you got on my email list and then you got the 48-hour replay. So yes, everything that has to do is everything that has to do with frequency is always like, whew, it's a workout. It's definitely a workout because our body is shifting from carbon to light, right? So when we bring in higher frequency, which is light knowledge, because you guys know that light is information, okay? Light codes are information. When we have downloads, which is light information and light knowledge, photonic light, right, that we are able to house inside of our bodies, we're clearing density, we're clearing gunk inside of our body, and we're bringing in light, okay? And so there is a lot. Yeah, so glad I was able to experience it. It's really powerful. So the replay is not available unless you're inside the mastermind. And this is the thing that that's happening right now is I want to be able to house the people that are doing it in a container where you can actually land. Okay, so the Metaphysical Mastermind is a digital course that teaches you about frequency and energy and dimensions and working with the unseen realms, how to work with your star lineage, how to understand how to integrate your higher self, right? So it's very much making the metaphysical in the quantum world practical and giving you tools to process through this ascension, actually having the knowledge how to process through the ascension. So this equinox meditation, just like in every equinox, which was really an astral integration, belongs in the Metaphysical Mastermind, because once you experience that, then you have to know how to handle it, right? Like you kind of have to know how to handle it. So those of you that feel drawn to doing this level of work and really understanding how to process through dimensional shifts and understanding the karmic lineage that you come from, the galactic family lineage that you come from, right? If you feel a mission, like a starseed calling, but it's kind of getting confusing out there in the world because there's people talking about all sorts of stuff. It's very, very clear in the Metaphysical Mastermind, okay? The dimensions, the worlds, the history of the planet, what really happened, what is our karmic lineage, what is every group of star beings and inhabitants of our solar system and the galaxy and other worlds. We get into all of that in a way that transfers to how do you use your gifts of light? What does that mean for you every day? When you wake up in the morning and you're in a family situation on planet Earth, what does it all mean, right? How do you use those skills? So yeah, the Sacred Chakras Journey and the Metaphysical Mastermind are my favorite. They're a staple. Thanks, Bobby. Like I see you guys, like so many of you are commenting. So do you start from the very basics is a question. So the very basics, it depends on what you mean, and it depends on what your background is, okay? So in the Sacred Chakras journey, we start from the chakras in the physical body. So we start from this. This is a different course that's like more of the basics. It's the Sacred Chakras journey, okay? So how to kind of develop your intuition and then understand your chakras. In the Metaphysical Mastermind, we start working with 12th dimensional energy, okay? So it starts at a completed place of 12 dimensional energy, but I do go through from what is 1D, what is 2D, what is 3D, what do we do in 4D, what about the transition to 5D that everybody keeps talking about, right? What is 6D, what is 7D, 8D, like we go through every D, so that, which is a dimensional plane, and it's an ascension. You guys understand dimensions are like slices. They're little, they're bandwidths of frequency, like a radio station that we tune into. And so according to that bandwidth that you're able to tune into and live into, you ascend. And as you keep ascending, which means you go higher, right? And higher because your physical body, your mind, your soul, your spirit is doing the work so that you're going up, right? You're ascending, you're spiraling up, you're getting lighter, you're transforming. So as you do that, you go through all of these Ds, all of these dimensional planes, right? So generally speaking, when people start to hit like 6th dimensional energy, for example, starting, from the beginning, that's when they start to see sacred geometry and numbers, and the energy of the universe starts to work with them. When you start hitting the 9th dimensional energy, you start like your contracts come up, right? When you start to work with 12th and 13th dimensional energy, you start working with, there's different versions of yourselves, and a lot of people get confused because it's like there's different versions of you, right? So these are things that we go through in the Metaphysical Mastermind. And also we go through how to utilize your gifts. So like if you have experiences, a lot of people have experiences where they feel like they're opening portals, or they're, they have like a sort of light, or they have this crown that was gifted to them, like from, their guides or their angels, and it happened in a dream, or it happened in a vision, or, whatever, it happened in meditation, or maybe it was, astral travel. And now what? Now what does it mean? Now what do you do with it, right? How does it relate to real life? And how do you make use of those light worker skills in your daily life in a way that actually impacts your life in a positive way? Because the worlds get to translate, right? It's not like there's this light worker world where we use our, little invisible skills or whatever, and then there's this other world. These words are all together. We get to learn how to use them together. It's our job to harmonize and to make it all work, right? We don't want to, separate. We want to bring it together. So that's what that is. And if you have specific questions, let me know. But there's also a lot of galactic lineage that makes a lot of sense when you figure out your lineage, and we talk about the different star groups, and I will track your lineage so you will figure out where you're from. And I'm giggling because it's one of my favorite things to do when we do the group reading, and then I'll track people's lineages, and it's really, really cool. And it makes sense because then all of a sudden you'll be like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. And this is why, da, 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 da. Because every group, every lineage, right? Kind of like your bloodline, kind of like your family line on earth, we inherit information that runs through our bloodline, right? Our genetics, any kind of inherited diseases or, habits or whatever that runs in our bloodline, the things that we've been clearing out. That's the physical world, right? But we also have galactic inheritance. That's the stuff that's coming in hot right now. And so once you understand it, right, and you're like, oh, that's why I have a tendency to do this and this and this. For example, let me give you an example. Whenever I track lineage to people that goes to Vega, okay, the people that have an ancestral line that goes to Vega, they're very selfless, they're very giving, and they have a tendency to overgive, to people please, right? And there is something that runs in their line, in their energy, in their countenance, in their energetic countenance, that puts them at risk of being energetically vampired, meaning people have a tendency to suck them dry because they're so giving, right? So there's things that you can do about them once you understand, because the first part, it's kind of you get to understand who you are and what to do with the pieces, right? And so it's a good way of understanding. Question, does every dimension have duality? No, not every dimension. So because every other dimension is physical, and then every other dimension is mental. So there's depending on the dimensions, once you get higher, it doesn't have, the duality is not necessarily within a dimension. The duality is when you drop from one to another. For example, a lot of people are constantly between dimensions. And so this exists here and then they drop and it's here. And this is where, things happen. So is shadow work included? If you're talking about the metaphysical mastermind, we don't get into shadow work specifically, to dig things out. No, we actually, it's more of a, I want to say a mystery school, right? So you get to learn, it's a mystery school / X-Men school where you get to use those kinds of gifts. So you get to really understand secret kind of stuff, more of the secret knowledge, but it's really personal to you. It's not the secret knowledge that they don't want you to know that's on YouTube that doesn't really tell you anything because they just say things that don't actually connect with anybody, right? Does that make sense? So it's we actually have, you can go and look at here we go. You can go and look at the modules. So if you want to see if it calls you, go to, it's moonbabetribe.com, and then / Metaphysical Mastermind, or you can just go here on my website, on my Instagram link in the bio and click on Metaphysical Mastermind. Okay, here on Instagram, I am at Moonbabes and the Light Tribe, and then you click on that and it tells you, on the Metaphysical Mastermind. It is very helpful. There's a lot of information on that page to see if it's for you. So go through and see if you're experiencing this, if this is kind of how you're feeling, and then it tells you the modules and everything that we do in every module. Okay, so there's a lot of different work in it that's similar to like Reiki work and theta healing work. And then we get into like sacred books. We break out like sacred books and we read that from different like ancient texts and like decode some of the things. So it's kind of like that. Okay. Can I connect with folks that Moonbabes rules? Thank you, Benny. Can I connect with folks that have passed on? Always present folks who has passed race towards me. So people that have passed on, like family or ancestors or people that have passed on, if they have passed on, they're not always available if they have actually passed on, because they have passed on. So you kind of have to make an appointment with them. They're not ever present. They're not always here or always there. Right? Like their being can be only in so many places at once. Okay. However, there's a lot of people that have not passed on, that are stuck in the dimensions, that never made it through. This is a lot of people's calling, is to usher people that have been stuck between dimensions. These are commonly like referred to as like the ghosts, right? Or the entities, discarnate entities. They're stuck in dimensional planes because they never made it through. They never actually passed on. So they just passed from physical form, but that doesn't mean that they made it through the dimensional planes to get to, right? There's a lot of people that get stuck between dimensions, and that's a lot of our work has to do with that. So, but you can definitely connect. And if you want to connect with somebody that has actually passed on, yeah, you go talk to your higher self. And I know that you know this, Tanya, because you're in the Modern Magic course. But you go to the 13th plane, okay? You go to where you talk to your higher self. And on the 13th plane, that's where you can go and connect, okay? And you request. Like, you can request meetings. So, and then sometimes they'll say, not available right now. They'll meet you tomorrow or whatever. So, okay, cool. Hi, Katie. Katie says, hi, Sonia. Can you talk about accessing these frequencies now that they're on the grid versus doing it with the portal? And how long does this portal stay open for in this transition and fold over? Good question, Katie. So now that the frequencies are on the grid, we are calibrating to them. So the name of the game, right now is calibrating, which means that everybody's feeling it. And that's why a lot of people are feeling overloaded. If you're feeling overloaded, is because your physical body can't handle the voltage that's now landed on the grid. And so you have to process through your stuff, right? Which means ascension symptoms, which means tiredness, which means blurry eyes, which means nausea, which means third eye headaches, all of these things that we understand as ascension symptoms in general, okay? It means that, we have processing to do. That's what that means. So, once you are through that and you feel calibrated to the energy that's on the grid, then you can utilize it. This is the energy of creation. This is the energy of manifestation. So it's like when you plug in every day on the grid, right? Be very careful with your thoughts. Be very careful with your exchange of energy with reality, because everything that you think, feel, and do, right, it becomes like you're interfacing. So you are becoming conscious of the fact that you're in full creation mode. When you start to really utilize it, it's like you're alive in the energy of the universe. And if you learn, right, to work with your skills, with your thoughts and your energy, right? So with the way that we create from within ourselves energetically, with the structures inside of us, then you can mold reality. And it's very interactive, so it gets really cool. So that's how you want to use it, right? So the first part is we have to integrate it, we have to clear it, and we have to get to the part where it feels good. Then we start to harness it. And harnessing it means, hey, you're interacting. You ask reality something, you will it, and it happens. Like things really shift, right? Like this for you. So it's really, really cool. The portal is, it's done. It's not like it's landed, right? So it's kind of like the energy of it is alive, and it's going to stay alive on the grid because it's going to take a little while to integrate. This is like, we just went from like, 120 voltage to 220 kind of voltage, right? So it's kind of like, buzz. And for a lot of people, it's blowing out circuits. That's why a lot of people are tired. So it depends on how it's a very individual phase. It's not like a collective phase, a whole lot. We've done work. I've done a lot of work to help the collective in this, but it's not, it's really going to depend on the individual. Like there's, it's not, it depends on the work that we've done internally. Like, it's kind of like reality that has no filter in a sense. So, the usefulness of the energy will depend on the person, which has always been the case, but now it's more so, right? So, the integration of it will feel different according to the layer of dimensional reality that you reside in. And our bodies are the anchor to the grids. So depending on where your body anchors, where you're anchoring on the grids of the earth, you will have a different experience of this process. So for some people, this phase will last a really long time. For some people, it will last a very short time. And so all the things changed a lot in this moment. So it's, it's kind of curious to see how it all works out. But it is available for everyone. That's the same, right? Because it's available on Earth. It's just a matter of who can tap into it and who can actually utilize it. So, okay, very cool. Is there any way to know if you're a starseed? Yes, you are. Let me tell you right now. Everyone that wonders it, you are. Right? If you are wondering it, you are. And what does it mean? What does the starseed mean? It's like a really cute term to say, actually, that you're a ginormous soul that comes from the stars, and you're bright and you're beautiful and you're meant to shine and you're incarnate in a little itty bitty physical body, but your energy is made from stars, right? So you're like a seed of a star. A star is huge. A star is a planet. A star is Venus. Venus is a planet. It's huge. So you're like a planet incarnate inside of a physical body, right? Like you're an enormous being of light inside of a physical body expressing through this physical plane. And so there's a lot of people that are just like little baby souls. Those are the people that are fully unaware. This is their first life on earth. They're just kind of lost, right? They're the people that are fully awakened, they kind of look like the zombies, right? Like when people talk about that, because it's their first life on earth. It's their first life. They haven't, their soul has incarnated for the first time. They're just like, what's going on, right? They're little baby souls. It's fine. It's like being little, babies. It's going to take a few lives, for them to like figure it out. So, and that's fine. But those of us that are, that are ancient souls, or like we come from other planetary systems, like star seeds, meaning we are stars that are seeding the earth. That's a whole different story. And you have that yearning, you have that feeling. And that's literally how I created the mastermind, the metaphysical mastermind, because it's like, you're not alone. Everyone who's a starseed, everyone who comes from the stars, everyone who has a galactic soul feels alone on this plane at some point. You have this feeling that nobody understands you, that it's like, what the fuck? Even in like, there's so many, it's trickier to be you. right? You feel like your gifts are not often understood. And nowadays, there's more people that are able to exchange energy and that are able to understand and to speak, to this level. But somehow still, there's a sense of non-belonging. There's a sense of this is not my planet. There's a sense of I belong somewhere else and this is not my place or this is not my people. But then there's parts of it that are really cool and they're very enjoyable. But in the back of you, it's like, this is not it, right? There's something missing. You constantly have this like inner void and something missing. That's because it's that pull. It's the galactic lineage pull. And until you figure out all of this stuff and you reconcile where your soul is from and grab a hold of this energy and lineage, like it doesn't feel complete. And that's literally the reason why I started teaching. So thank you for asking, because this kind of brought this out. But the reason why I started teaching online is because once I felt the completion of I felt alone all my life. I always felt like a black sheep. I mean, I came across the world. I never belonged anywhere, right? Like in general, and I had to make my own way in so many ways. And I always felt misunderstood, misjudged, like just alone on this journey and different. And the moment that I understood how to connect to this energy and to track my own energy field and to understand who I really am through the cosmos, I felt like, oh my God, this is who I am. Like this is that feeling of belonging. This is that feeling of love. This is that feeling like I felt safe within myself and I felt landed inside of me, which is a huge feeling that I never had. And I believe that a lot of starseeds don't have that. They feel like outsiders in this world, right? And so that's really what the Metaphysical Mastermind was about. And then what started, everything that I've taught since. But it's really to reconnect you to your galactic roots and to your galactic lineage and to that energy that is, truly who you are. So that's what that is. Okay. I love you all. I see that you have lots of questions. And let me see if I can skim through. How did I find my lineage and how the story of your life? Yeah, I am sure that a lot of people feel this way, and that's why you're here, my loves. Like you're here because this was my journey to figure out. And then this was my, I figured out, once I figured it out and I put all my pieces together, then I knew that this was my piece to teach. And so I know that those of you that feel called and attracted to my work, right, to my energy and my work, I know that you must be going through the same things, to similar things, because those are the things that I can teach you. Those are the things that I can walk you through. Those are the things, right? So you wouldn't be attracted to me if you were into other things, because that's not my language. That's that's not my energy. So a lot of times the people that I work with, right, the souls that come to me have had similar paths, like very similar paths, very similar, like heartbreaks and health issues and, craziness and non-belongings and like all of that, and have had to make their way through life, and they're just exhausted to figure it out on their own. And so once we understand this is how we recalibrate, this is how we people that are, made this way that's different, calibrate, this, it changes. So how did I figure this out? I had to develop a relationship with God per se when I was younger, because I left my country by myself. So I left Italy when I was 15, almost 16, and I came to the United States, and I didn't speak English. And I had to figure it the fuck out, because people could not be trusted, especially in high school. I felt like I couldn't trust anybody. I couldn't even speak the language. I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't talk to my parents. Otherwise, my parents were going to be like, come back to Italy, right? So I had to develop this connection really strong. But also when I was little, I was just set up for this life. When I was little, I went to Catholic school and prayed the Madonna and the gods of the Catholic religion every morning. And then my parents in a Catholic country became LDS, which is a very controversial religion. And I, all of a sudden, was going on Sundays and learning about a different God. So I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I was very confused as a kid about religion and God and spirituality. So by the time I was a teenager, those were my fights with my parents. We're fighting about, you can't tell me what God to believe in, right? And I had like crazy things. And I used to get beat up over God, like full on, because in Italy, people like, you know, slap their kids and whatever, like whole different situation. But like, there were full fights in my house with broken dishes that were about God. So I had to carve my way. And side note, I love my parents, fully love my parents. They're amazing people. Italians are just very passionate. So we've reconciled all through that. But I had a really hard time, and that's why I had to make my own way. So I was confused about God. I had to figure it out. I moved to the States. It was kind of this lifeline. Then I had to be like, there is no God. So I had to figure it out. I had to go through my own thing, and I had to learn my own gifts. But one of the things that happened to me that I had to carry as a health burden on my life is I was born with 1 in a million heart condition. Okay, that when I was a kid, I used to have heart attacks all the time. My electrical field of my body would like just pop, and I had heart attacks like the old people have, where you go into fibrillation and your like ears whistle and your arm goes numb and like everything is crazy. And it would just happen like that. Now I understand that it was a frequency situation, but back then it didn't make any sense because it would happen just anytime. What happened was, and then I had to have a heart surgery. So it was a crazy. I had a wild childhood, you guys. So that trained my body to hold massive energy. Okay. So as a kid, like I was just like constantly like fibrillating. And when I understood when I started downloading massive amounts of information, and I started working with my galactic family and galactic beings, I understood that the reason why I was capable of doing the tracking that I do, like the stuff that I do in the mastermind, when you guys experience the level of energy that I can hold in there, you'll be like, whoa, it's because of that. It's because this burden that I carried as a heart condition and as a heart problem that singled me out as a kid that couldn't do anything, right? Whatever. And it was very painful. Gave me a gift, and I cried forever once I figured this out, gave me this gift that I was able to be like Professor X, you know, like in the X-Men movies, like how he plugs into Cerebro and he can feel everybody and track everything. I can do that. And it's because of, you know, everything that my body had to go through. So I had to go through a lot of preparation. So you could say that everything was set up for this in a sense. And that's how I figured all of that out is I had my health got so crazy and so out of control that I had to unravel it and figure it out. I had no, you know, so it was just kind of like me, God, my angels, and, you know, my star beings. And, you know, I started utilizing that connection and exploring it and understanding it and building faith in it and starting to understand. And then mentors appeared, right? And I had mentors and psychics and mediums and like people that I learned from. I invested a lot in my trainings, and these are all people that don't have anything online. You guys know I talk about my mentor Gary all the time. He does some stuff online, but he wasn't psychic. It wasn't this stuff. I learned different things in self-development that allowed me to self-develop to the extent that I could utilize these light gifts to then teach you guys these things. So that is the kind of stuff. That's how. So it wasn't like one day I woke up like this. It was a whole development. It's truly my life job. It's my mission. It's my purpose. I hold this. This is why I'm here. And I'm very clear about it. So yeah. Yes. Okay. Loves. I am going to go. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I have like really wild stories that one day will make like a sequence of things about my life. So I got to go, my loves, but we've talked for a really long time. I will see you inside the courses. The Metaphysical Mastermind is on, I think there's 48 hours left. And there's a special deal on it, particularly look at the payment in full. Okay, there's a special deal on it. It goes so there's 2 more days of it. And then the registration stays open until the 31st of March. Okay, so if it calls you, there's also payment plans and everything is explained on there. So if your heart feels like you want to learn, right, how to harness these energies and do this work and actually understand how to move yourself through in these kinds of, multi-dimensional galactic kind of knowledge and energy. This is not magic kind of stuff, right? So it's a different course. I don't want to confuse anybody because I'm also teaching the Modern Magic and Manifesting course right now. That's different. That's magic and manifesting. In the Metaphysical Mastermind, we talk about galactic family of light. We talk about lineage. We talk about how to utilize those gifts of light, like where you come from in your karmic lineage, and moving through, all of the dimensional planes, working with the masters, reorganizing your chakra pillar and integrating the layers of your higher self. Okay. So it's a different course. So for anyone thinking about it, do the mastermind. It's so worth it. Thank you, love. Golden Warrior Mama. I love you. So, absolutely. And, I'll share some little things that have been said about the mastermind in my stories, because I get comments about it all the time. It changes people's lives more than probably any other course, because it's just like that kind of course. So I love you. Go to the website, moonbabetribe.com. And go and check out the Metaphysical Mastermind and DM me here for any questions at Moonbabes and the Light Tribe. Thank you for joining me, loves. We had a great chat together. I love you all and I'll see you soon.